Appreciate you joining me today. We're going to be looking at the account of John the Baptist's father today. Our hymn is called Let All Mortal Flesh Keep Silence.
Let all mortal flesh keep silence, and with fear and trembling stand. Ponder nothing earthly minded, for with blessing in his hand, Christ our God to earth descended, our full homage to demand.
King of kings, yet born of Mary, as of old on earth he stood, Lord of lords in human vesture, in the body and blood. He will give to all the faithful his own self for heavenly food. Rank on rank, the host of heaven spreads its vanguard on the way, as the light of light descendeth from the realms of endless day, that the powers of hell may vanish all as the darkness clears away. At his feet the six-winged seraph cherubim with sleepless eye veil their faces to the presence, as with ceaseless voice they cry, Alleluia, 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 Lord Most High. Let all mortal flesh keep silence. All right, we're going to be looking in Luke chapter 1, but this is kind of the tail end of it. And so you have John the Baptist's father. His name was Zacharias, and we're in the Gospel of Luke, and this is Luke chapter 1 at verse 5, where it says, In the days of Herod the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias of the division of Abijah, his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, her name was Elizabeth. They were both righteous before God, walking in the commandments, and all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless. They didn't have any child. She was barren, and so Zacharias goes in to do his service, to do, as it speaks about, his priestly service. He goes in, and suddenly an angel says to him, Do not be afraid. And all of a sudden, you're going to have a child. And Zacharias says to the angel, How shall I know this? For I'm an old man, and my wife is well advanced in years. Verse 18. And the angel says, I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of God and was sent to speak to you and bring you these glad tidings. But behold, you will be mute and not able to speak until the day these things take place, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled in their own time. And so he does his job, and he comes out, and he's mute for the next 9 months. He can't say anything. And I actually thought it was kind of humorous in a way, because Elizabeth all of a sudden is pregnant in her old age. And when she has conceived, she makes the statement, she says, The Lord has dealt with me in the days when he looked on me to take away my reproach from among the people. And of course, he did. And she's blessing the Lord. And the whole time she's blessing the Lord, her husband can't say a word. And he can't say a word for 9 months. And of course, you have the account of Mary visiting Elizabeth. And then towards further into chapter 1, eventually the time comes for the child's birth. And so the child is born, the son is brought forth, verse 57. Verse 58, when her neighbors and relatives heard how the Lord had shown great mercy to her, they rejoiced with her. So it was on the 8th day that they came to circumcise the child, and they would have called him by the name of his father Zacharias. His mother answered and said, No, he shall be called John. What the angel told Zacharias to call him. They said to her, There's no one among your relatives who is called by this name. And so they made signs to his father that he would have him called. And he asked for a writing tablet of some sort, and he wrote, saying, His name is John. And they all marveled. And immediately his mouth was opened and his tongue loosed, and he spoke, praising God. Then fear came on all who dwelt around them, and all these sayings were discussed throughout all the hill country of Judea. Okay. some of the points I want to make today. Because you're kind of thinking, what's the big deal? What's the big deal that you got to call him by this name? Words have meaning. Words have meaning, and those meanings need to be believed. And sometimes as when I'm teaching class or when I'm preaching, and we'll talk about a word, and I'll say, well, this is what it means. This is what the word literally means in the original language. And sometimes it feels like, oh, great, we're having to look in another dictionary, we're having to look in another lexicon, and it's, oh, great, this is turning into English class again. Well, it's not. Wasn't written it. That's the problem. It wasn't written in English. For those who think that when the Lord spoke on the Sermon on the Mount, that he was reading out of the 1611 version of the King James Version because it's authorized. No, they weren't speaking English. In order for us to understand it, the Bible had to have been translated into English. That's the whole point of that's William Tyndale, by the way. Words have meanings, and meanings need to be believed. And Gabriel says, because you did not believe me, you're mute. Can't say a word until that time. Words have meaning. And so the child is born, and what's everybody assume? Oh, well, you're just going to call the child after yourself. In that picture, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But it's like it's all about you, right? You're the happy father. It's all about you. Simon Bar Jonah, Simon son of Jonah. That's what they, and it's, call him Zacharias Jr. I don't know, maybe Zacharias' father was named Zacharias. Zacharias the third, whatever it is. It's a way to bring attention my name. And so they say, oh, well, surely you're going to call him by the name of his father, Zacharias. Mother says, nope, going to be called John. Made signs to the father because they say, you don't have any relatives named. Like, you don't have an uncle, you don't have a grandpa, no one among your relatives is named this. Why are you calling him this? Words have meanings. And so they make signs to the father, to Zacharias, and he asks for the tablet because his name is John. It's not about me. What's one of the great lessons of John? He, Jesus, he must increase, I must decrease. It's not about my glory. It's not what this is about. This is about glorifying the Lord. And so, why does it matter what the baby was called? What does it matter that he was called John? Well, I want you to see something. I want you to see what Adam Clark had to say about, in the original language, what this name John meant. And it'll just come up here on the side, and it's that part that's highlighted. John, which should always be written that way, full version, and it means the grace or mercy of Jehovah. And that's what his name means. The grace of God. Grace or the mercy of God. Grace or the mercy of Jehovah is what it means. And so we recognize that words have meaning. The name John meant something. The name Emmanuel meant something. The name Jesus means something. Words have meaning. And meanings need to be believed if they're from the Lord. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our daily praise.